Jonathan Gilbert, I want to come back to you. As I said, there is still some hope. The police commissioner has made it clear that they haven't made any official statement on casualties as yet. At this time of the year, most of the people who come in to India, presumably for the summer break, go back to England. I asked you this earlier. Do we have any profile at all of those involved? I also stopped you, Jonathan, when you were explaining what the process and protocol in Britain now will be.
Well, two questions there. So no specific information about those passengers, but like I said earlier, common sense would seem to suggest that those British passport holders who were known to be on the plane, 53 of them is the number we've been given. The majority of those would almost certainly have been either dual nationality or British passports holders of Indian descent. They could be business people, they could be holiday makers. There are many millions of Britons of Indian heritage, and we know that they go back and forth to the motherland, India, on a frequent basis. And as I was saying earlier, the majority of those, through a quirk of history, who settled in the UK are almost all from the Gujarat region. So there's a huge connection between Gujarat and the UK's Indian diaspora. Now, in terms of your second question, yes, there is a help desk that I understand, a reception area, they're calling it, that's being set up as we speak, that will be manned, I suspect, by officials from Gatwick Airport, representatives from Air India, and almost certainly representatives from the British Foreign Office. And they will be there in order to provide information, reassurance, and probably comfort to any relatives who have come here erroneously or chose to come here out of a sense of desperation and a desire to discover more information about their missing loved ones.
Right. And just on a final point, Jonathan, you said that there'll be multiple agencies now involved in this. Presumably, this involves Air India staff at Gatwick, but also British aviation authorities?
Yeah, absolutely. There are multiple organizations, commercial and public, who will now feel a responsibility for this episode. I would say, yes, definitely representatives from BAA, possibly the owners of Gatwick Airport itself, which I understand is a foreign-owned consortium, Air India, quite obviously, but taking the lead almost always at times like this, as I say, the UK Foreign Office, they have very well-established protocols in place in order to deal with tragedies and disasters like this. So they will be dealing with this as sensitively as you might imagine.
Okay, Jonathan, we'll come back to you for more updates. As I said, there's still plenty of speculation swirling around what could have caused this air crash. Why should an airline which has a 100% safety record, the 787 Dreamliner, crash in this manner barely minutes after takeoff? And lots of theories are doing the rounds to try and get a sense of exactly what happened in terms of minute to minute. My colleague Ankit Kumar is joining me. I'm also joined by KVJ Rao, former senior cabin crew member. But first, I want to come to you, Ankit. Just explain to our viewers exactly those terrifying minutes as we know. We don't want to speculate, but based on what we know so far, tell us what we know, Ankit.
So Rajdeep, at the outset, let's disclose the source of this information. Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast, ADSB. It's a publicly available data set which every passenger aircraft broadcasts to ATC, to other aircraft, so that everybody knows where the aircraft is at any given point of time. Based on publicly available ADSB data, we have created these visualizations to inform our viewers to understand what happened to the Ahmedabad-London aircraft flight. So at 1:30 p.m., the first ADSB broadcast from the runway is established. We can also confirm, using the same data set, is that the last broadcast of the signal from this Boeing 7378 Dreamliner was at 1:38 p.m. We know from satellite imagery that the entire length of the runway is 11,500 feet almost. So given the, if we merge the satellite data with ADSB, we can confirm that the aircraft utilized its entire length before it tried to take off. Now the next visualization, this is a broader visualization showing you exactly what may have happened. So at the height of 425 feet, the aircraft lost its power. After that, the vertical descent started. The vertical speed of descent was roughly 475 feet per minute, which should give you an idea that the pilots virtually had no time to react. This is again based on ADSB data. The aircraft was last recorded at 425 feet above the ground level. If you measure sea level as the reference, that becomes 625 feet. But because the Ahmedabad airport itself is roughly about 200 feet above the sea level, so the height, the altitude of the aircraft from the runway should be roughly around 425 feet at the time it lost control. We have another visualization. So this is the broader picture based on preliminary information, open source ADSB information. This is what may have happened. At the height of 425 feet, the aircraft lost complete control. It started vertical descent. The speed calculated again through ADSB inputs was 475 feet per meter, giving virtually no time to the crew and the pilots to make any adjustments. Rajdeep?
Very interesting, Ankit. What you're saying effectively is that the pilot at best had 1 minute, given that he was at that particular height, not more than even or barely 1 minute to try and make any attempt to control the aircraft, simply not enough. Am I correct? That's broadly what you're saying. It was such a speed.
Probably
less than a minute.
Less than that, Rajdeep. Given the
probably,
size of the aircraft,
sure.
if you calculate the vertical descent speed, 475, the vertical height is just 425, so not even complete 1 minute.
Right. Ankit, very useful information there. Ankit Kumar explaining to us very clearly as to why it became so difficult at that height to even manage the aircraft, and eventually it's crashed into that hostel building, medical hostel in Ahmedabad. KVJ Rao, former senior cabin crew member, this is the ultimate nightmare scenario for anyone associated with aviation. Thoughts with Air India, with all the crew, and of course, all the passengers. Your first thoughts, sir? Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
a very sad incident. This could have been avoided if certain precautions were taken, but to be very honest with you, DGCA has been lax on a lot of issues, and this is not the first time that we're looking at it.
Is it fair when you, I mean, I want to be very cautious before pinning blame on anyone at this stage. When you say that DGCA has been lax, can you be more specific before we make any kind of allegation at a time like this?
Raj, every statement I make, I take responsibility. I have a DGCA letter here to Air India where the breathalyzer tests of the pilots were forged. I have another letter here where wrong crew were rostered for a flight. An inexperienced pilot was on board. You see, I have been raising these issues time and again. We were just waiting for a tragedy to happen. Rajiv, and this is not from today. It is from 2008. Let me put it very blunt. I've been to the courts. The courts are also lackadaisical, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, but Mr. Rao, the only reason I'm slightly hesitant to allow this narrative to carry on is only because it is just hours after the crash. We have still no idea what caused it. Air India, DGCA, their role will surely be the subject of several, hopefully serious inquiries to ensure that what happened is never repeated. But you seem to be suggesting that this is a long festering problem when it comes to negligence. We don't know
Flight
whether this was
safety.
in any form
On-
caused by
on flight
negligence or
safety.
pilot error or bird hit, the various
No.
theories that are doing the rounds.
As of now, there are all theories, and I totally agree with you. My only contention now, Rajdeep, to be very honest with you, is had we taken precautions at time, maybe this could have been averted. This is not only regarding flight safety, it is the area around the airport. It was a residential area where the aircraft went down. We could have avoided that if proper precautions were taken. Like in Bombay, we have the funnel effect. We had to file cases. So I am not pinning a blame on any particular one person at this point of time.
Sir, just a minute, sir. Mr. Patel, can you join us? I've sent you a Zoom link. Yeah, on your two.
यहाँ आ चुकी है और सभी में एक दो मुद्दे ला
Sorry, I had a live call from the former Civil Aviation Minister, Praful Patel. He'll join us in a moment. I just want to stop you, Mr. Rao, for a moment. Devesh Agarwal, aviation expert, also joining us. Mr. Agarwal, lots of speculation, but prima facie, this appears a 1 in a million kind of incident that has occurred. A flight taking off, a Dreamliner, 787, double engine, should crash in this manner within a minute or two or less than 5 minutes of takeoff.
Thank you for having me, giving me the opportunity. First, let me preface, as everybody, prayers for those who are in the hospital for their recovery, and prayers for the Almighty to give strength, to the families of the bereaved. Accidents on takeoff are not rare. They have happened quite frequently. In the case of Air Florida flight, I think at I forget which airport, the aircraft stayed a little too long on the runway after getting de-iced, and ice built up on the wings, and it did not, provide adequate lift to the plane. I think a Scandinavian Airlines DC-9 has come and has also crashed on takeoff. So on takeoff, there have been quite a few sets of instances where planes have crashed on takeoff. There was a situation where I think, if I remember,
I'm going to
Korean
stop you,
airplane.
Devesh, for a moment.